We have more breaking news about Do Kwon and some very interesting insight into what happened with the depecking of UST. You guys are not going to want to miss this exclusive information. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure to join our free Discord with the second link down in the description below and get signed up with our premium channels. But other than that, let's get right into this video. Alrighty, everybody, we have some very interesting information that I want to go over, a news article, and of course some exclusive information from the whistleblower himself, Fat Man, who I think actually provides a very interesting look into what's been going on recently with Terra Luna and what has happened over the last couple of weeks. But let's start here. Do Kwon. Do Kwon is a, well, we'll put it lightly, a figure of controversy over the last couple of weeks and days. People have non-stop been talking about what he's been doing, what he's been saying, and more importantly, of course, how this affects the price of the token. The most recent claim is that he does not care about the money. This is an article basically saying, is this true or false? And while I do think that this is something to look into, I will say with this with a grain of salt, there's no way to prove definitively whether or not, oh, he likes the money, he doesn't like the money. We don't know, but what we do know is that, of course, there are ways to look into this. So the allegations were brought into light by an anonymous whistleblower on Twitter, Fatman, who alleged that over $2.7 billion worth of liquidity pool tokens or money, just in general USDT, was taken from the Terra project a few months before the UST depeg and crash. Per Fatman, Kwon achieved this throughout DGenBox, which is a borrowing protocol that enables users to loop stablecoin buys, which gave him the perfect mechanism to drain liquidity out of Luna and UST systems into hard money like USDT. Please keep in mind, these are all, of course, alleged speculative claims. Nobody knows that for sure. But either way, that is the allegation to be made. And of course, everyone now is saying, well, does he actually care about the money? We actually do have some responses to Do Kwon's response. So, you know, inception, if you will, response to a response. Nassim says this: all rumors are false until officially and categorically denied. Trader's adage. Note, Kwon is the Luna or open Ponzi operator. Straight up calling him a Ponzi scheme there. Luna stablecoin collapsed. He says, people you meet on the way up, you meet on the way down. Do Kwon, who is Ponzi at stablecoin, no longer cares about money. Remember, his favorite insult was poor. He didn't debate Francis Coppola because he doesn't debate the poor and had no change for her. So this is an interesting little and being made by Nassim, who's pretty famous in the crypto space and just on Twitter in general. He's been doing a lot of write-ups recently with what's been going on just in world events and current news. But either way, these claims that he's making right now are pretty, you know, interesting, right? He's calling him Ponzi scheme, saying, hey, you know, you actually don't care about the money, especially because your favorite insult was poor, which is pretty revealing about somebody's character. Again, guys, I want to know your opinions down in the comments below. You know, every video we get tons of comments about, I hate Do Kwon, he should be tried and convicted. I love Do Kwon. I don't think he did anything wrong. Just let me know in the comments below. We always love to know your thoughts. Be respectful, of course. Be nice about it, guys. We love to have an open discourse and conversation. You guys know how it goes. In my opinion, this is going to be a little bit of a hot take. I do think that Do Kwon might have been doing some things that he should have been doing. That's my opinion. Of course, that's all alleged and speculative. Again, nothing there really constitutes any of that. But of course, I just think that in general, there were definitely some missteps on the way up that Terra Luna made as a company and as a project that I think could have been better. But either way, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about this Fat Man interesting information that he is putting out here on Twitter. He's made a whole Twitter thread kind of chronicling some of the details behind the UST pegging from the basically $1 to 1 cent. So let's talk about this, right? So as UST depegged from $1 to 1 cent, retail investors held the bag. Minus 60.4% of them held it until the bitter end, and the rest suffered an average loss of about 70%. But why? Where did the confidence come from? Let's better understand the truth behind the first depeg in May 2021. So he basically goes on his state. I don't want to read all these tweets verbatim and bore you guys to death, but he basically goes on his state talking about how, you know, mindset was a big part of this just as much as the actual technical things that happened in this before, right? He says a crypto market sell-off jumpstarts UST's first ever serious deviation from its peg. You are all familiar with the conditions surrounding it. Luna is dropping, cascading liquidation regulations exacerbate the situation, and UST slips down to 95 cents. Terra is about to die. Here's the truth people don't know. At this point, Do Kwon is desperate to save his baby, and he knows he can't save it himself. He knows the death spiral all too well from the base's cash, which he hid from investors. Luna and UST are both on a crash course. He needs capital. He gets on the phone with Jump Crypto, which is a VC fund he has been working with, and begs them to come to the rescue. Jump's eyes glisten with greed, and right there, the deal is done. Jump will bail Terra out in exchange for a monthly Luna payment. More details another day. And then, of course, he goes on to talk about how the bailout was publicized, yada, 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 and, of course, more claims like this. So Fat Man is basically saying, and this, again, guys, this is all alleged, this is all speculation. I don't want anybody to think that this is 100% true or right. This is a very he said, she said situation. This needs to be kind of figured out in a court of law for any serious matters, right? But, of course, we can sit here and speculate about this and have our opinions. And I think that this is very, very interesting about this because, you know, what is the truth here, right? Did Do Kwon go behind everybody's back where there was basis cash that was hidden somewhere? Did he talk to a venture capital firm to try and save Luna, which clearly didn't even really work to begin with? And the other thing too that I think is really interesting that Fat Man didn't really talk about in this is actually the way that investors treated the overall depegging of this stablecoin. Think about this, right? If you have money in Terra Luna, or if you had money in UST rather, if you had money in USDT, USC, any kind of stablecoin that is meant to work as basically a way to earn a little bit of interest, more interest than you would in a regular savings account on a coin that is pegged to things like, the US dollar, right? Which ideally holds its value at $1. You would probably think you're pretty safe, right? You would think that, hey, this is a safe place to be, right? This isn't something that I'm going to, get screwed over on. And even if I was, right, it should all be guaranteed. The project funders and founders, I'm sure, would help me. They would save me. But look at this. Was that the case? Not really. We saw more people kind of get pretty much wrecked is really the only way to put it in this stablecoin crash. And in my opinion, I don't think that this is the first or the last, or not the first, but this is definitely not the last depegged stablecoin that we are all talking about. But I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see more. I think we might see more stablecoins like this crash. Again, guys, I believe in Terra Luna as an ecosystem. I believe in it as a project. But it's important to be aware when missteps are made along the way in the growth of a cryptocurrency project. It's important to be aware of what's going on with the project itself on a daily basis. But unfortunately, the thing that we really should be the most aware of that we can't really be aware of at all sometimes is what's going on behind closed doors at Terraform Labs. I have a feeling that on the way up, there was definitely some missteps and mistakes that were made that kind of cost the overall prestige and relevance of the project. And of course, the project is still relevant. People are still betting on a comeback. And I am hopefully hoping for a comeback. I'm definitely, of course, dollar cost averaging in whenever I can. Not too much money, just a small position, just because I want to kind of expose myself to this and see what happens. But again, it's just a very, very interesting conversation and overall situation. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I always love to know your overall thoughts and takes on this kind of stuff. I think you guys always have some really great points and just in general, really great issues that you guys like to discuss on it. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Make sure to join our free Discord with that second link down in the description below. But other than that, I'm Kyle with Finance Bro. Take it easy.